Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. Hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday today and that you're having a nice, peaceful day. Today, what I have been inspired to speak about is connected with living a spirit led life and what's involved in that and the courage it takes to actually live in a more aligned way. And we're going to really be talking and getting into the laws of attraction and how that applies to everyone. No matter what our belief systems are, there are universal laws that are in effect. And so, really, for those of you that are ready to have the universe working for you rather than against you, understanding laws of attraction is really an empowering thing to start to be conscious of, because whether you're conscious or unconscious, you're creating. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I'm going to share the phone number for anybody that wants to call in today live. And if you want to get an angel reading, I've got angel cards and I've got divine guidance cards, my animal totem cards, and Kuan Yin. And so if any of you are wanting to tune in on your specific question in regards to manifestation and laws of attraction, feel free to call in. And all of you that are listening right now, if you can go in and just sign in on the live chat, you can put your name or nickname and put something in there, and that way you can chat in with your questions. You can ask Amnon whatever you want to ask, and then he will relay those questions to me. So the number is 919-518-9773. You can also call into Computers 2K Voice if you're calling in through Skype. So if you want to jot that down really quick, go for it. And any of you that are on the live chat, go ahead and share your name, say hello, and let us know where you're listening from. Like if you're local, if you're somewhere, maybe in Australia, let us know where you're from. So I'm going to read you to start off today. It's a channeled message that I recently got during meditation from my angels as I was tuning in, and I feel like it's perfect to kind of kick off today's topic. And so just kind of sit back. Unless you're driving your car, then don't close your eyes. But if you're sitting at home, maybe sit back, close your eyes, and relax, and just really listen to the message as a message from the universe for you, and really pay attention to what it's saying, because it could be really helpful for you in shifting. It starts off, greetings, beloveds. We are so pleased to connect with each of you in regards to your physical bodies and their changing needs during this time of ascension. Many of you are crying out for relief from your pain. For some of you, this is arising as physical pain. For some, it is the emotional body, and for others, it is arising in the mental body. It is becoming vital for your well-being that you start listening to the needs of your bodies. Many of you have been ignoring the cries and pains of the various energy layers for years. As you tune in, you may notice that there is this habit of overdoing and a refusal to listen and honor your body that has began to take its toll. It is time for realignment and rebalance on every level of your being. Allow us to assist you if you are ready. So remember, angels operate under free will. That's a law of the universe. So if you're ready for shifts, you have to invite them in, and then be ready for the changes that they'll encourage you to make to help your life. And we'll get into that deeper. It says, we understand that you are very attached to your physical dimension, often to the point of complete disregard for the wellness of your being. As more intense frequencies of light are emitted, this old, outmoded way of living will become very painful for those who refuse to shift into higher dimensions of unity consciousness. You each have and always will have free will, and the freedom to choose is yours alone to make. We encourage each of you to step away from your frantic doing and to connect with the forest, the trees, the ocean, the rivers, and the meadows once again. These high vibrational spaces have much wisdom and healing to offer you. Some of you have completely lost your focus upon the sacredness of life, of living with integrity and with honor. This frantic, fearful way of living has caused you to feel as if we have abandoned you. Yet perhaps it is the other way around. We come to you now with an invitation to awaken and remember the importance of your soul's alignment. This is and will always be your highest priority for your health, happiness, joy, and well-being. Some of you are consumed by your fear, your jealousy, lust, anger, needs for approval, and greed. We ask you to take a centering breath and realize that these choices have never brought you the feeling of peace and contentment or ease that you desire. We encourage you to care about how you feel, and in doing so, you will realign with your soul light, and you will again care about others' needs in a more balanced way. Not just those that do what you want or act like you act, but a deep unconditional love and care for all of life. The illusion of darkness grows for many of you day by day, yet we encourage you to awaken to the truth that this is a self-created illusion. You are in an infinite eternal light, you are the infinite eternal light of the great sun, forever burning brightly in your forever burning brightly in your chosen layers of consciousness. You are never alone or isolated. This perspective is also an illusion, though an often convincing illusion. Awaken, beautiful, deserving souls, and reclaim your alignment with the infinite light that you are one with in truth. Remember who you are, that you are one and we are one. Many of you may be experiencing various physical sensations that suddenly come over you like a wave of energy flowing into your energy field. At these times, we encourage you to anchor your light and connect deeply with the core of your beloved planet. Move away from the busyness and the doingness and be. Many of you are regaining your gifts from past lives swiftly and suddenly. We feel that some of you may be overwhelmed at moments by this, and you go into fearful thoughts. Stay centered in your love and anchor the love and light that you are deeply into the core of your planet. Be patient and gentle with yourselves as you are swiftly shape-shifting on every energetic level. Allow all of your energetic bodies to realign in harmony and balance once again. You are being guided to tune inward more often than ever before as you are shifting everything out there by tuning in here. You are awakening and remembering the galactic, multidimensional light beings that you truly are. You are not small. You are not victims. You are infinite, vast consciousness with no end. Reclaim your power and center deeply in the heart center, the doorway to your soul light. Release the need to look out there for love, approval, belonging, or understanding. Tune inward, and all that you seek shall be found and reclaimed as you self-realize once again. You are truly powerful beyond your mental comprehension, and many of you are discovering just what powerful creators you truly are. For some of you, you are creating beauty, and for others, terror. Yet each one of you are playing an important part in the collective creation. Be mindful of what you are thinking of, speaking of, and reacting to. Be mindful of your story. Take back your power and choose aligned, empowered action, rather than fearful, frantic, egoic reaction. This choice is yours to make, and each of your choices matter greatly to the new earth in which you are all actively co-creating. Remember the love and light that you are in truth. Center your awareness and thoughts here upon the infinite. Be this vibration of frequency of unconditional love once more. It is time for your awareness and your awakening, and we are here with you, assisting you always. You are loved, you are love, the legions of light. So that was something I just channeled, like maybe within this past week. And it's so truthful. And if any of you have been, maybe you've been creating hell and terror, and your life has been really frustrating, or your life has been stressful. Some of you maybe are going through physical sickness and you're not feeling your best. Or for others, I hear so much about financial stuff with people constantly talking about their lack and that they're broke. And what I've observed is when people are in that consciousness of basically lackful consciousness, poverty consciousness, we don't mean to, but we're thinking so much and obsessing so much about the lack that we start to create that lack. And so we often will, even when we have very little money, it's like it dissolves it. We lose it. We don't know what happened to it. People rip us off, or there's all kinds of things that can happen in that vibration. So when we shift into an abundance consciousness, even if, let's say, somebody doesn't show us honor and they don't want to pay us for something they said, we don't have to go into poverty consciousness. We can just realize this soul's choosing that choice. Now I'm going to go center with my source. I'm going to thank Source for bringing in the aligned way to take action. And sometimes that may be to take a stand to that person, and other times it may be to just let that go and let them just find their own lesson from that, and you call in the new abundance in a more joyous way. So all of us are drawing in and attracting things to us every moment, and it's all coming from our own vibrational alignment. So if any of you guys have questions on that and you want to call in with something like, Tawnya, what about this, because I've got this going on, and what do you think I could do about that, I'm really encouraging you to take this opportunity to call in. If some of you don't want to do this publicly and you want to connect with me as a soul coach, my website's right below where you see the video. You can go to my website later and look under services, look at what I have to offer, and then contact me if you want to do some more one-on-one work. And Amnon and I have been talking about offering some webinar workshops. And so I'm going to encourage all of you that are on either Facebook with me under Tawnya Love, and if you're not, go follow me on Facebook and you can send me an instant message. You can also email me at tanyaangel@gmail.com and send me any kind of feedback on what your highest priorities are on a workshop for a webinar. And what I'm going to do is, for some of you that are still trying to get out of that poverty consciousness, I want to offer workshops where I can get a lot of you into a workshop where it still pays me abundantly for my time, but it also helps you get the information that would cost more if you called me one-on-one. So for some of you that you can afford that, go ahead and call me and let's do the one-on-one stuff. But if you're interested in a webinar talking about laws of attraction, or maybe a webinar on living a spirit-led life, that's what I'm kind of intuitively feeling like I'm going to start with. And I'm going to offer it anyways, but I love and welcome your feedback, because that way it helps me and Amnon know the best day and the best time to offer it so that we can help the most people. So I'm going to put that request out there that you go to Facebook right away today and follow me under Tawnya Love. You can go and send me an email, tanyaangel@gmail.com, and just start a dialogue with me on what you're wanting to understand and what your availability is, because I'm talking to people today that are all over the world. And so in my local, where I live in Vancouver, I offer workshops here in my home and also throughout the community. So there's that level. But for those of you that don't live nearby, I would love to work with you and interact more one-on-one. So give me some feedback, and we're going to be starting that probably in September. We'll start offering some webinars that could be fun for some really great growth with you guys. So I'm going to pause. Did somebody call in? Because I thought I heard a noise.
No.
Oh, okay. Is there anybody got any questions?
No. Ron says, yo.
Awesome. Yo. Okay, well, write in some questions, guys, because I know that there are some of you that you're struggling in some way. And so don't be shy. Like, write in, say, what about this, Tawnya? Like with my health, like all the doctors are saying that it's impossible to cure this, and maybe it's something with your financial situation, and you just been like, I've always just struggled to have money and I don't know really how to change that. So don't be shy. I'm encouraging you guys to ask the questions, because that's how we can tune in and help you. So I'm going to invite that again. And now going back to our focal points, I'm going to read a page to you today from Getting into the Vortex, because this is, you know how much I love this book. I seriously, Esther and Jerry Hicks, if you ever see these videos and you want to just send me a little love offering check, I have sent probably thousands of people to the bookstore to buy this book. So it's called Getting into the Vortex, and it's a great book. It's got a meditation CD with it. I've said probably so many times on my show, I've encouraged you guys to get this book. But it will really help those of you that are just coming into that understanding of vibrational alignment and what does that mean? What does it mean? Like, what do you mean I'm putting out a frequency? What does that even mean? This book will really help you understand that. So, and also doing workshops, so we can do that. The page I opened to today is all connected to well-being and health. So I'm just going to read that. And again, just close your eyes and listen and kind of see how this resonates with you. It is nice to have an opportunity to visit with you for the purpose of tuning into your natural rhythm of well-being. Your intelligent body is comprised of trillions of cells, and they are seeking and finding alignment and balance at all times. While it is obvious that a good-feeling body makes for a more pleasant physical experience, we want you to understand that finding pleasant things to focus upon also makes for a good feeling body. So what that's saying in essence is, if I feel good and I'm like perfect, full of energy and vibrant, I'm like, whew, I feel awesome. My confidence is up. I have, maybe my mental health is more focused on joy. But I've also met people that their bodies are energized and they're feeling good and they're dwelling and harping and negative and focused on anger and fear and revenge. And what I observe is, the longer a person is focused in that place mentally, and then they're saying that stuff verbally, eventually that has a cellular effect on them. It will take its toll. And so then it starts to create what am I trying to say? It starts to create a disconnection through the cellular connection, and it will start to throw off the balance of the body. And then that person will actually start to get what they call sick. So everything that happens, if we're not feeling good, when we're not feeling good and we're feeling like we got the flu or something, that has been something that we have been having come in at a frequency for a while, and now it is manifested in the physical body. So if somebody, let's say, is worrying chronically, that chronic worry maybe won't immediately bring sickness, but over the course of time, keeping in that frequency will start to manifest dis-ease in the body, and sickness will start to come into the body. So if somebody, let's say, is focused on anger all the time and they're just hateful, and they may feel justified. And this is something that, I'll have clients and they feel very justified in their anger and their rage because they've been hurt, they've been wronged. And trust me, I have been treated like crap many times in my life, but I've learned that I will feel the emotions of that. I will process them. I'll forgive the people. Sometimes I have to cut people out of my life and move on because that's healthy for me. But I don't need to walk around and harbor hate. I don't need to harbor anger. I don't need to go on and rage and, make sure everyone on Facebook knows that somebody pissed me off today. And I say this with love and compassion, because there's definitely been times in my life in the past where I was just angry and I felt everyone needed to know why I was angry. And it really wasn't great for me. It actually made me feel sick. I felt less energy. I feel like I attracted more people that were angry and they were rageful, negative. And so as I started to see that shift and I could heal, like, let's say one of the best examples I can think of for myself personally was when my dad committed suicide. That was a hard one. That was a really hard situation for me. And it was an amazing part of my spiritual growth and my spiritual awakening. Now I can see that. But at the time, it was a butt kicker. And as I dealt with that and as I moved through the anger of that, I could see now where I'm at, looking back, that suffering I chose was definitely optional. And that suffering drew different kinds of people into my world, drew different kinds of experiences into my world, because I was in this heavy energy. And so that's what I'm talking about when we're putting out a frequency. So I put out a frequency that was heavy and painful and anger, and I drew in different energies connected to that frequency. So now the difference in my life now is that I focus on the love and the good and the joy no matter what's happening out there. And this is a big test for a lot of people, because some of us, when we're really lonely and we're really empty, we can be very ambitious and we can go out there and be very busy, busy, busy bees, but we don't feel good about ourselves, and it will wear a soul out. It'll wear, not a soul, it'll wear your human physical form down. And so it'll start to create cellular disruption, which will manifest into disease or sickness, cancer, stroke, heart attack. All these different things that we draw into our physical body are started with the very thoughts we think, the words we speak, the actions we take is who we become. So let's say somebody's been really enraged for a long time and they have a lot of unforgiveness in their heart center. They're just pissed off all the time, and they don't trust anybody because someone did them wrong, and so they're always angry and they're always guarded in their heart. This could be someone down the line. Enough of that energy and enough of that guardedness starts to take a toll on the physical heart, and a person will start having heart problems, maybe some dysfunction in the heart at first that leads to heart attack. Let's say somebody's been in anger and they're just spewing toxic words and fiery venom, on Facebook or to their families, or just writing letters or texting their ex-friend, and they're pissed off all the time. If they're in that energy long enough, it will start to create a dysfunctional connection in the cellular body, and then the cellular body will start to turn on itself, and this is how diseases like cancer are created. So when I like, there's times where I can look at just how the inner and the outer reflect each other. So if someone has cancer internally, let's say in some part of their body they're going through that sickness, that dis-ease, if they look outside in their movie, there is something reflective outside that they need to address that could actually bring inner alignment. So let's say a person, because breast cancer is a big one that everyone's always talking about, and I see a lot of women that they're overgiving, they're overdoing. They constantly feel like they have to give at the cost of themselves. They never think about themselves. They don't take good care of themselves. So they're always giving to others. They're putting themselves last. They don't have any time left over. They start to get heavy. They gain weight. They have less self-esteem, less self-worth. Then they're kind of resentful and they're angry at all the people that are healthy around them. And eventually, this can take a toll. And then we see women that get breast cancer. And a lot of times, these women are over givers in their families, but they're not really having good boundaries. They're not really being great at delegating tasks to others. They may not have a lot of self-love for themselves and feel like self-worth. And so the nurturing energy of the breast, which represents that life-giving, nurturing center, become toxified. And so think of how many people on this planet have that. And it's all different walks of life, all different ages. Men can get it, women can get it. It's really connected to that nurturing center. And are we loving ourselves? And if we're not, and we're harboring anger and resentment long enough, it will start to turn inward and the physical body will have a reaction. So maybe that helps you guys if you're, open to that. All the things that we're going through in the external world, there internally is where we have the power. So if I feel like, I'm not liking something out here in my movie, I don't like my job or my relationship with myself, the solution is always to tune inward first and to tune into what's going on inside. This is why I'm so passionate about teaching yoga and teaching yoga teacher trainings, helping teach classes on meditation, because coming to that place of meditation and deep inward focus, inner stillness, is how you start to reconnect with your source. This is how you start to remember that everything you desire, everything you want out there starts within. So if I want to manifest a dream job, I need to go inward first and be clear on what matters to me, what my soul mission is. What is it that makes me feel joyous? What do I love to do? How would I love to serve? But if I'm not in that alignment, then what I'll do is I'll just frantically and fearfully create for my ego, and I'll just go and quickly look for any job. I'll do anything for money. And I hear people say this. So, I'm just saying things that I observe. But people say, I'll just do anything for money. I'll do anything if I can make this money. And they do anything. And then they are resisting and they're frustrated and they're angry and resentful. And then that doesn't seem to work out for them. So then now they're looking for anything else they could do. And what I encourage you to do is to tune inward and start to be quiet and be still and know that you are God. Know that you are a powerful creator, powerful creatress, and that you absolutely are creating, just like I said in the channeling from the angels, what they said is you are all creating, you're all so powerful, but some of you are creating a life of complete lack and fear and revenge and backstabbing, and some of you are selling your souls to get something externally without the alignment of what matters to you most. And I don't encourage you to do that. You will definitely learn something from it. But the more gentle, loving, fulfilling path is to come inside, to remember who you are, what matters most to you, how may I serve, and then working with the universe, working with the light, and trusting that as you see and feel abundance inside, and as you celebrate all the abundance you see around you, you start to powerfully draw it in like a magnet. You start to create what you want instead of what you don't want. And the beauty of when we have things come to us that we don't want is that it helps us to know what we do want. So if let's say you're working at a job and people just treat you crappily, you haven't gotten a raise, no one really respects you, they don't honor you. see that, start to really see, okay, wow, look what I've created. This sucks, and I'm ready to create something new. So send love to that situation, love yourself, and go inward and start to visualize, what is it I really want? Then go and take action towards that. Thank the universe for bringing in helpers that are loving instead of that are backstabbing. Thank the universe for bringing in clients who are honoring and who pay you on time and who pay you in full and don't try to take advantage of you, instead of focusing anymore on the people that do those things. Let those people drop away. There's plenty of them on the planet, but there's plenty of these people that will show you honor as well. And so it's all about what you're focusing on. If I'm focusing on the lack long enough, I'm putting out a frequency of lack, and the universe responds to that, period. If I'm focused on abundance, even though I don't have abundance today, but I really would love to, and I hold that focus long enough and I keep getting excited for when that's coming, it will come to me. It has to. Like a magnet, I will draw that in. And all I need to do is hold my focal point and keep my patience in that process of creation. And this is where most humans actually are missing the mark, is that so many, they feel like they know they don't like this, but they really want this. So they don't want A, but they want B. But what they'll do is they'll talk about they want B, and they'll spend maybe 10 minutes talking about that. And then they'll go right back into the fear and the anger and the resentment of why they have A. And in their silent thoughts, they'll just feel like, man, I'll never get away from A. I'll always have to have A. And they make a story, and that story starts to really become the glue that holds them to that situation. So now, if we don't need to create a story, and we realize that this whole world is an illusionary world where we're creating, if we're not too attached to it, and that's what Spirit teaches me all the time, is that so many humans are too attached to their reality. So they're always focused on what's right here, and they think that's it. So we start to focus on limitation, we will experience limitation. So people like Einstein, that we're always saying, to focus on the infinite, to focus on the source energy, and that the greatest gift is our imagination. It's not our intellect. It's not what we already know. What we already know, we know, and we've got it figured out. It's expansion. So if I'm only caught up in what I know and I'm solidly attached to that, I won't allow anything new to come in. So I'll give you an example. I had a client recently calling in and sharing that she wanted to understand more of laws of attraction. She was wanting to do better at manifesting what she wanted in her life. But there is a level of her that was very attached to what she knew, even though what she was experiencing was not fun and she didn't like it, but that's what she knew. So it feels comfortable to cling to that. So what I was challenging her with was, you may not be experiencing angels. You may not have any experiences yet to speak of that you feel that angels have come in, or any spiritual experiences that you can share, but it doesn't mean that they're not available to you. And she's like, well, I'm not really tuned into the angels. And I said, I believe you on that. And so what it is that it's not that angels don't exist. It's just, are you all tuning into them? Or are you tuning into just what you know? So if you've been taught a lot of Bible stories your whole life, and they're about fearful things like, ooh, I can't talk to that girl Tawnya because she's reading angel cards and doing angel tarot, and in my religion they said that's evil and that's bad and that could be voodoo, and so I'm going to cling to this story even though I'm really suffering. I feel really freaked out. I keep praying to this God that I don't know even exists, but I'm hoping it does. But I'm not willing to open myself enough to listen to someone who could bring another perspective that could actually bring me out of this hell that I've created. And so that's what I'm trying to help you guys see, is be open to releasing your story. Be open to releasing your attachment to your reality. If you're living in an apartment and you're barely paying the rent today, and you don't have a whole lot of extra money for groceries, and you're smoking all the time and you really wish you didn't smoke, that's your reality right now, but it isn't got to be a reality next month. And it doesn't take long to shift. So if you're in that situation and you're like, man, I could be taking better care of myself, I could be using my money in more efficient ways, I'll show you. There are people that all the time, they will tell me, if they'll meet me and they're like, I'd like to work with you, but your prices are kind of high and I just don't know if I can afford it. But then they're going to go to the store later and they're going to buy cigarettes for $10 for a pack and take that into their bodies, and it's actually poisoning their lungs and taking away their life force. I look at that logically and I'm just like, basically what you're showing me is when you take your money and you go invest in poison to put in your body, you don't really have a desire for health and wellness. That's one of the first things we got to look at is what am I investing my abundance into? If I have abundance and I go and spend it on vodka, or I go and spend it on cigarettes, or I go and spend it on pornography, or eating out all the time, buying a bunch of clothes so people think I'm cooler, whatever it is that we're putting our money and energy into, part of it is looking at what you're valuing. Because I see people all the time that say they can't afford to come to a yoga class, which is $25 for 2 hours, $25, 2 hours. But I will see them getting their hair dyed once a month for $130. I'll see them getting their fake nails done. And so I'm saying this not to be disrespectful about, physical beauty, because it's okay to want to pamper ourselves and have physical beauty. But if we're in a place where we're suffering and we're not feeling like we're really having an abundant inner life, it's going to matter. Like who you are on the inside, you can't do anything amazing on the outside if the inside's all messed up. I can't remember the exact song, but I was listening to Lauryn Hill when I was going to the beach last week, and it was so cool because in the Lauryn Hill song, she's like basically if you're messed up inside, it doesn't matter what you have outside. You can sell your soul to become famous. You can sell your soul to become CEO of a corporation. Sell your soul to go and get that guy as your partner and steal him from that married woman. Whatever it is, we can do these things. But if we're not right internally, we're not really going to be satisfied externally, no matter what we draw in. So when we're looking at manifestation and creation, a lot of what I'm teaching about every week on here is about spiritual alignment, and it's real. Spiritual alignment is just as important as in your car. If your car is in alignment, it's going to run better. It's going to be smooth sailing, and it's going to be efficient. If your car is out of alignment, you know it because it's always trying to go off the road. If your body's out of alignment, you hurt your shoulder, you hurt your knee, you go to a chiropractor, have them try to correct you, or go to an energy healer like myself and have some Reiki done to help heal that. Your inner spiritual alignment is just as important. It's the most important thing. And when you come into that place of spiritual soul alignment and you start living a spirit-led life, everything else will find its alignment. The body will be in greater alignment, the mind will be in greater alignment, and your emotional body will be in greater alignment. And so everything you will create will come in a beautiful way instead of just having superficial things. So like when you look at the books like The Secret that teach about how to get your dream car, your dream home, your dream whatever. And I teach vision board classes so we can make vision boards, we can get our dream car. But it's not going to be the thing that actually fulfills you. It's your inner alignment that actually fulfills you. So getting things, and challenge me if I'm wrong, please call in and tell me, you know what, Tawnya, I got a Porsche and I got all these chicks that love me and it's satisfying me. And if that's true, we will have a talk. But I really feel that people who are collecting things, they need everyone to like their comments. They need to have 1 million fans. They need to have $5 million. And it's okay to have money because I definitely love to have money. I won't even deny it. I love when I manifest abundance. But if I just need money and I'll do anything it takes to have it, that could be an issue. And that's what I'm talking about the difference between manifesting what you love with your own soul alignment and manifesting what you want from a misalignment, from a just, I need stuff to fulfill an emptiness that I haven't tuned into yet. And that's what I'm going to challenge you guys on, is to tune into that. So I'll pause and see if anybody's calling in, and if not, I'll finish reading what I was reading.
Ron is saying, explain, excuse me, explain what you mean about us being like a god.
Okay, us being like a god?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is something, if you look in the Bible, Christ was saying very directly was, be still and know that I am God. And this is all about interpretation, but what I feel to be truthful from my own experience with Source and with tuning in with Spirit is that when I, Tawnya Love, am still and centered, and I go into the vastness of consciousness, I tune in, I tap in, I know, I am, I understand, I create. So when I am in that alignment, I am focused like a laser beam upon my intention, and I am calling it forth like a magnet powerfully to my physical experience. So I am the creator. So source and I, source meaning the infinite vast consciousness, the energy that supports all life, I am one with that. And when I am one with that consciously in creation, I am God, because I am creating through my thoughts, my focus, my intention, my action. So when someone is not seeing themselves in that way, so a lot of us play smaller. And so we're kind of taught to, actually, ironically, we're taught that by religion and by political stance and by I cannot talk, I'm tongue twisted today, societal teachings. We're often taught to play small. So when you're a child and you really know what you want to do, and then your family comes in and, oh no, honey, you shouldn't do that. There's no money in that. Like, let's say the little boy, he wants to play the guitar, and he's like, one day I want to be a singer, I'm going to play the guitar. And the mom's like, no, honey, in our family, we're doctors, and you need to go to school, and we have a lot of money, and we'll pay your way, and you're going to become a doctor. And so this could be like the record that's played to this child from birth, and then he gets to 18, 20 years old. He's going to college, making those important choices. His heart and soul wants to go play music, but his family's all pressuring him to go become a doctor to take over the family business. And this is when souls will go and they'll start creating from obligation, from guilt, from other people's expectations. And they are not still, they're usually overly frantically working to fulfill somebody else's need and desire. And that's never going to be satisfying or rewarding because you're not being true to yourself. So when that soul is creating from fear, they're still, in essence, one with source, but they're not conscious of it. So they're unconsciously creating from fearful, frantic, egoic action instead of taking a step into meditation and saying, you know what, Dad, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Mom. I hear what you're saying, Minister. But I'm going to be still with myself. And when I get still and I tap in and I feel my heart center, nope, my heart center says we're going to make music. And so I appreciate all your feedback, but I know who I am and I'm going in this direction and I'm going to take action. And this is how I'm going to share my song or share my gift with the world. And so that is when we take that time to be still and know we are gods, then we're not going to play small anymore. And I feel that's what's collectively shifting on our planet right now in a big way, is a lot of us are starting to realize we are that, and we can actually reclaim that instead of believing that we're not worthy and we have to repent of our sins and we have to go bow down in front of a stranger, some priest we don't know, and just ask him if it's going to be okay for us. What the hell? Why would he know if something's going to be better for us? Any more than why would your mom or dad know what's best for you? Your mom and dad and your family and friends and all these people, they can have an idea of things from their own perspective, but no one is ever going to know what is best for you more than you will know. That is a truth. But most of us deny ourselves every day. We deny our own knowing all the time. You got women that they really feel strongly about something, but they hang out with all the friends that are like, oh, honey, no, you should totally drop that guy and you should just do this. And then they're feeling inner conflict because their heart and soul are saying go in this direction, but then all the gossipy friends are saying no, or they're all saying, oh, you need a guy with money. And so the woman's like, but he's such a loving person and he's so good to me. And so the pressure comes in. She denies what she knows is feeling right. And she goes and waits and holds out for some rich sugar daddy to come along and then feels unfulfilled but lives in a mansion. Awesome. So my point of saying that is that when you don't play small, and I don't care if you were born into, millions of dollars or if you were born in poverty. I was born in poverty. I heard all the time, there's not enough. I was abused my whole childhood. I had people trying to kill me, literally. I have been through some shit in my journey, but going through all of it, I realized, even young, I would challenge those humans like, that doesn't make sense to me. That's out of alignment to me. I'm just going to have to trust what feels right to me because you're off. And the more and more I started to see that it's okay. There's so many in the world that are hurting and so many that are lost. So what I learned as Tawnya Love is, why would I tune into that for my answers? Why would I go to the misaligned psychic that's smoking like a train and that looks freaked the hell out and ask her my future? It's terrifying to me. But I see people who do this and they don't question it. They don't discern energy. If each of you listening would stop playing small and you all would call back your power and you'd all start to be still and remember you are gods here to create a new earth, we would shift this planet so fast. But what has to happen is each of us need to wake up and we need to remember that. We need to remember that we're one, that we're connected. So if somebody's doing something in the rainforest and it's destroying the rainforest, it is going to absolutely affect us living in Vancouver. If somebody's doing something messed up over in the ocean in Japan and the waters are getting polluted, it is absolutely going to spread across the planet and it's going to affect all of us. So if somebody's got a problem in one part of the planet and we pretend that's not a big deal because it's not our problem, in essence, that's not true. We don't need to dwell and obsess and be in fear and depression about that. But there's things we could do to make a difference in our part of the movie. There's things each of us could do. I totally encourage you guys, if you haven't seen it yet, to watch the movie Tomorrowland. I've watched it twice already. I took my nieces and my daughter to see it yesterday, and such a great film. And in that movie, basically, it's showing like the world's ending and that there's nothing they can do about it because they've got this big programming thing that's kind of like calculating the possibility of the planet not destroying itself and that it's going down. And so the beauty I love about this film is that this one girl, of all the people that are listening to the news and they're just believing that the world's going to hell, and I see it on Facebook today. A girl was sharing that on Facebook, as a matter of fact, and she's like, I just feel like really bad things are coming in September and October and like the end of times and all this. And then I've seen people saying crazy things about the end of times. And what I realize is if you watch the film Tomorrowland, most people are tuning into the destruction on the news. They're tuning into all the bad stuff happening in the world. Oh, another school, being shot up. Oh, the police are now being abused by this and that. And look at, they're killing this lion in Africa. And yes, these are things that are messed up. I agree. But if we're tuning into the problem and we're watching all that and we're just like hopeless and we think, who cares? The world's going to end anyways. So I'm just going to go get high. I'm just going to go and like party it up until the end. Like a lot of the music, like party, what was that Prince song? Party till like 1999 or I can't remember, but it's like the world's ending kind of song. And I really feel that if each of us, like in the movie, this girl, she would not believe it. She was like, no, there's got to be something we can do about it. And she was focusing on the solution. And I relate to her so much because she doesn't really fit in. She's a little warrior rebel. She's always getting in trouble by the teachers and no one wants to really hear what she has to say. But she's got a drive and she has a point that she knows that if they can change the way people are looking at things, they could change what's there. And so in the film, they basically have to go through this process where they can show that. I feel like what they're mirroring is that the media is feeding the wrong wolf. So she talks about there's two wolves and you always are choosing which one you're going to feed. They're both hungry. So one wolf is darkness and despair. It's like the doom and gloom wolf. And the other wolf is the hope and light. It's about love and hope. And, there is a possibility of miracles and shifts. And depending on which one you feed is the one that you're going to nurture and you're going to grow. So if there's people, even if they're very spiritual, because I see some people that I consider to be quite spiritually aware, but then sometimes they'll surprise me and they're just really focused on the world's going to end, the earthquakes are coming. And I'm just like, whoa, guys, like really remember your power. Because if each of us knows that we are God and we all practice this stillness every day, like let's say today we have 1,500 people watching and every one of you makes a commitment for the next month to every day be quiet and meditate and focus on a beautiful planet, to focus on it and to ask Source, how may I serve in assisting with this? And then listen and take aligned action, we will see shifts happening. But if all of you listen to me today talking and you're like, that sounds good, but no, the world's going to end. It's all shitty. Like people are corrupt. They're never going to change. People are hateful. They're never going to change. Then you are feeding the wrong wolf. And nobody else is creating that but you. And what I love in the movie Tomorrowland that the point is made is the guy that he appears dark, but he has a lot of truth. And what he says is that basically humanity gave up. Humanity was actually inviting the apocalypse. They start waiting for it. And look at our planet. I see people, they're like trying to cause the end times. They're trying to blow things up. And like we're going to make the end times happen, because they're so anxious and afraid that they're trying to actually make it happen. And it's because they're giving up. And it's because it requires something of each of you today to create change. But if the world's ending, there's nothing required of you. You can just sit at home and you can just complain and you can just say, oh, the world's dark and dirty and polluted, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to get high and smoke a bong, and it's not my problem. That is you feeding the wrong wolf. And that is you, as one individual, feeding into the collective consciousness of doom and gloom. The people making movies about it, the people writing about it, and they're focusing on it, and they're talking about it, and then we watch movies and we get scared about it. It's all feeding the wrong wolf. Or I would say the wrong, if you really want the planet to survive. Now there's people who are creating consciously aware films. There's people writing very consciously aware writings. There's people creating shows like I'm creating that are bringing truth and alignment to help people understand that there is another way and that there is solution, but it's going to require something from you. It's going to require you to start listening. It's going to require you to start taking aligned action. It's going to require you to do your part in cleaning up the mess and finding balance. It's going to require something from each of us to start caring about the whole, to start caring about each other more than we care about our selfish little fearful, frantic ego. So when I see people that are so worried about being popular, so worried about being famous, so worried about being rich, that they're totally stepping on people to get there, feeding the wrong wolf. It's insanity. And there's no way that that is causing them to feel good, because I watch them. They're fearfully, frantically creating, and they're not at peace. They're not at ease. And how could they be? They have no honor, no reverence, no regard for what's happening out there. So if we want to feed the correct wolf, the one that's light and hope, we need to start listening. We need to start being one with source. We need to start taking action when it comes, not procrastinating. When my angels say, Tawnya, you're going to go to Cannon Beach tomorrow and you're going to take your clocks and we're going to guide you, which just happened last week. Sunday night, making dinner, they say, you're going to go do this. And I said, awesome. It has been a personal goal of mine for years to have my artwork for sale at Cannon Beach in Oregon. Really cute town on the coast, and a lot of people from all over the world go there. And so last Sunday after the show, I'm making dinner, my angel said that. The next morning I said, AJ, do you want to go to Cannon Beach with me? And she's like, yeah. So I took my daughter and I took Honey Girl and we go to the beach. And within an hour, when I pulled into town, there was a parking spot waiting for me. I walked down the street. I'm looking at a few shops. Not feeling it. My dog, Honey Girl, starts pulling into this certain shop. And I'm like, baby, come on, let's go. She keeps pulling. So I was like, wait, let's go see why she's pulling. So I have my daughter and her wait outside, and I went in. Long story short, the guy said to bring my clocks over. He'd look at them on the side of his store. So I pulled my car around. And Ron and I now have our beautiful clocks for sale at Cannon Beach in this beautiful boutique gallery. So that is how spirit works. And if I didn't listen, let's say I'm like, oh, I really want my stuff in Cannon Beach. And then I get that intuition. It says, take your clocks. Don't just take your business cards. You're going to take your clocks and your business cards. So I did. I listened to that, and I honor that as sacred. I honor that as like God's calling back to me. And that's part of what all of you need to start doing is you ask the questions and you don't listen to the answers. You ask and ask and ask and ask and ask and hope for something to change. And we don't listen. And I won't, I'm not mocking it, because I definitely have done it lots before I became more aligned and more in a place where I was choosing consciously to live a spirit-led life. I'll give you an example. Years ago, I was asking, should I leave my marriage? Is this a good place for me? And one day, my ex-husband and I were driving down the coast in California, and I was just in my mind talking to my angels because he was being just hateful. And it was just another one of those days where I'm questioning this relationship. And so I was like, please give me a sign if, something I can't miss, if this is not a good relationship for me, angels. So we're driving, and all of a sudden he's like, you know what? Screw this traffic. I'm getting off the freeway because the traffic was really bad. So we pull off to the beach, and he gets out of the car and he goes to get in the ocean. And about 5 minutes after he gets in the ocean, he yells out, oh, shit. And I was like, what? And he's like, the ocean took my wedding ring. And I was just like, holy crap. So that's an experience, like a moment where when I talk about universal signs, the universe gave me a very bold sign. And then what did I do? oh God, oh my God, I'm not ready. I'm so freaked out. Like, I don't know what I'll do. I've got kids. I'd be a single mom. So what I did is I went into fear, frantic, fearful creation, and I started fearfully creating, and then it kept me attached to that person that really my guides were telling me years ago to go, that it wasn't the best place for me. And I can have compassion on myself because that was my journey. It's what it took to get me to where am today. But I say this to each of you because now what I've learned is when Spirit brings me wisdom and guidance, I'm listening and I'm taking action immediately. I'm driving down the street and my guides say, go in this new place. This is a women's play, there's a new job that I'm going to be teaching workshops at here locally. And it was just driving down the street. My angel said, go in there. They need what you have. You're going to go and connect with them. There's a lot you'll do with this woman. So I was like, what is it? So I went in there. Long story short, I met with her. We're setting up some workshops to do there. And she's so eager and excited for it, which is the places I like to work. And that's how it works. So that's why I'm saying to all of you that are listening, start being quiet and be focused on one question at a time. And when the answer comes in and you ask for a sign you can't miss, honor it as sacred. Honor that as God calling back. And you are one with God. You are one with Source. You and your Source are one. So if you're ignoring your own inner guidance system, you're arguing with it, you're the one delaying your forward movement. You're the one playing small. True story. And by doing that, you're feeding the wrong wolf. If we want to start feeding the wolf of love and of hope, and we want to create a beautiful planet where people have honor and reverence and kindness and compassion, and there's plenty to go around, we need to all start talking about that and thinking about it and creating from that place. I hear people that are talking, like some of my, people that I care about greatly in my movie, that they say they want this kind of place. They want this place of honor. They want to live on a planet where people are respectful. And yet, as their assistant, their intuitive angelic healing assistant, there are times that they are not honoring to me. They are not kind or respectful, that they give very little regard to anyone around them, and I observe it. And yet they want these things externally that they have not aligned with in themselves. And so I would say that's where, like books like The Secret, they're going to touch on the materialism part, and that's going to fuel your ego. Your ego will be excited about that. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to soul alignment, because you could be laying in a mansion or you could be laying in a small studio apartment and you could feel at peace or you could feel completely not at ease depending on your own alignment. So I'm going to pause there and see, did that answer Ron's question?
Well, I was going to ask. I was going to say, hey, Ron, did you get it now?
Yeah. What is he saying?
He's not saying anything.
Okay.
Oh, no, he says, nice. I agree. Well said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I encourage you guys to start being aware of which wolf you're feeding, and you always are, period. So whether you're conscious of it or not, now that's another thing. And so the trick is any shift, any big giant shift we want to make, it comes from small, consistent moments of awareness. So if I want something to change in my life, all I need to really focus on, it doesn't need to be hard. And I hear people say this all the time. They make excuses for they don't have the money or the time or it's hard. Stop saying that, because that is your story. And instead realize that it's not hard. And as soon as you tell your mind something's hard or something's impossible, you just shut a door. And so you just made limitation. You did. So if you don't want limitation and you don't want to play small anymore, then you have to stop saying things and doing things that create smallness. So instead, you need to imagine opening the moonroof of your mind to vast consciousness. And every moment you catch yourself having a small thought, you catch it with awareness and go, ooh, interesting. Like I was totally just thinking about lack. Okay, I'm not wanting that anymore. So what am I going to choose? I'm going to focus on the abundance. Thank you, angels. Yes, there's $50 in my bank account. Kind of freaking out about that. But I am excited and eager to see how the universe is going to supply my need. I am calling forth an extra $500. Thank you for surprising me. Thank you for bringing in ways that I love. Thank you for clearing away all the obstacles that could be causing me to not receive the abundance that I so deeply and gratefully deserve. So we start to clear away the obstacles through our intention, and we start focusing on what we're ready for. So every day for a week, maybe we're in meditation and we're just opening up and calling in what we're ready for instead of focusing on what we're afraid of. And that takes simple awareness. It is not hard, but it is consistent conscious awareness. And that is maybe just going to be something that's new. So instead of you becoming unconscious, fearful, frantic, egoic creators, which are creating destruction and lack and overconsumption, when I see people overeating, overtaking, analyzing over anything, they're over consuming because they're in fearful, frantic ego creation, period. When we are more balanced and centered, we're not in a rush, we're not in a race. We don't need to take that girl out to get there first. We don't try to hurt people to get what we want. We don't go and gossip and try to terrorize people. We don't try to just be corrupt and get our way there to the top no matter what it takes. That is the fearful, frantic ego creation. When we're consciously creating, we may move more slow and steady, but it's interesting because in my life, I move more slow and steady with that focus and I save time. I get places quicker and more efficient because I listen to my inner guidance and my angels guiding me, and I listen and trust them, and I take the action, and I manifest things faster than seems logically possible. And people that are in my movie know it and they watch it, and some of them watch closely and their lives have also shifted. I've seen some of the people that have worked with me as a soul coach and have done auric clearings with me completely change their lives around, and they are very abundantly blessed and living in greater harmony. But then there's also some that come in and they don't do their work, which is the consistent awareness, and they still are just frantically, fearfully creating from ego. And they talk about it, and their ego causes them suffering, and they don't really show honor to people. They don't really love and honor themselves. And this is one way we can live. That is one wolf we can feed. But I would encourage you to all consciously start to choose to feed the other wolf and watch how the world becomes more beautiful, more shiny, more radiant, more healthy, more balanced. And each of us have the power to manifest that. And all of our thoughts collectively are creating it right now, whether you want to believe it or not. So some of you are unconsciously creating from your fears and you don't really want to be aware, but you're still helping with that wolf being fed. And some of you are consciously creating by your consistent focus, your meditations, and by your loving, generous, honorable actions. You are creating in that vibration. And it matters. All of your contributions matter to what we are manifesting here on planet Earth. All of you are helping with that. Whether, like I said, whether you're giving it to this wolf or that wolf, that is where we all have power. And so we can't make, like, as much as I understand it's good to feed the wolf of light and hope, I know that and I'm doing that, but I may have a bunch of people around me that are not. I can't, if I let that distract me and then I'm not doing what I need to do, I've also failed, and now I am feeding the wrong wolf. So I don't care how spiritually aware you say you are, it all comes down to your focus and your alignment with that giving to the correct wolf. And so start really being conscious of that and realize the more you can do that, you can be that shift, you can be that change, you can live and move and walk in that alignment, living a spirit-led life. You will actually inspire others to do the same, and you can't make them, but you can show them how. You can be and emulate that. Like Christ emulated that. He emulated what it's like to trust that greatly and to live with that alignment, with that integrity. And another great song on Lauryn Hill's album of Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is Father, Forgive Them, for They Know Not What They Do. Such amazing song. It's that's like, I would say, a mantra for me in my life, is to live in the world but not be of the world, and to forgive them for they know not what they do. So there may be people that have been so tactless and not very loving or honorable to me, and I've been nothing but loving, but it's just forgive them for they know not what they do. Don't let that actually distract you to losing your own alignment. Keep in your alignment of love. Maybe you do start to discern certain people you just don't let into your sacred space anymore, and that's okay. But don't go into an angry place where you're negative, you're ranting, you're raving, and then you're actually creating sickness in your own body. So really start to see how the dots connect in vibrational alignment, and how we giving to people who are actually helping the world be better, that helps it. If I'm wanting to fuel, let's say, like, how many of you have maybe made a donation to something, like to go into some rave and you're given $10 to go into a bar, or you go to like a strip club and you're spending like $200 on strip club. You go and you buy your cigarettes and you go out drinking and you all get drunk. And how many of you contribute to that? No problem. Don't even need to think twice about that. And how many of you actually have thought, let me send in a love offering to Tawnya Love for her show, for what she does every week. Let me send in a love offering to this person in my community that's helping clean up the parks. Let me go give a love offering to this organization that's actually doing a lot to help clean the water. These are the people doing that work to help feed the correct wolf. But some of us, we're real stingy and tight with our money when it comes to giving to them. Why is that? Something to contemplate. So I just encourage each of you to really think of how I can be more generous and how I can be more supportive to those who are actually making a difference, and how I can myself be that change of that difference, that shift on this planet, and feed the right wolf instead of feeding the wolf of fear and despair. That makes me go and live in that way. When I'm focused there, I start wanting to get drunk, I want to get high, I want to check out. And it's sad to me because that is not necessary. But this is where the angels say you all have free will. If you remember what I read in the beginning of the show, that channeling, we each have free will. And we, the angels, have not abandoned us, but many of you, that maybe not you guys listening, maybe more the ones that aren't even tuning into this, but many of you, when you're in your fear, you are abandoning your angels. You are abandoning the light. When you're in a room in your house, depressed and angry and fearful, you have abandoned the light. The light did not abandon you. So you have to choose that light. That's truth. So on that note, I was going to read you a card, but we're already 3 minutes over. So again, I'm going to remind you, if you want to do the webinars and things with me and Amnon, please send me an email, tanyaangel@gmail.com. You can go to my website right below the video and click on that and go in there and look at services and find all my info so you can get in touch with me. But let me know days and times that will work for you. And when we do this, show up. Like, that's helpful. So if I actually go to put this workshop out there and we do the event, show up and actually claim it. Some of the things coming up for those, I don't know, those that live locally, on the 7th next week, we're going to have an illumination night, a game night again, with this really awesome game, Illumination, from 4 to 7. I have gentle yoga and Pilates classes on Monday. Cannot talk. Classes on Wednesday and Friday. So Pilates classes at 5:30, and then yoga on Wednesday at 6:30 to 8. And then the Empowering the Empath local, I have a training coming up, and there is room for a few people to Skype in. That is on the 15th. It's a Saturday from 4 to 7. And then the last Saturday of the month is our Sacred Soul Sister Circle from 5 to 8, and that is local as well. And I also have clients that have Skyped in for that. So if any of you want to be a part of these groups or you want more information, take the time, go on and follow me on Facebook right after the show under Tawnya Love, and you can see events as I put them out there. So I want to wish you guys all the best in your manifestations. And what is that? Oh, I will talk to Anna. Yes, next week we're actually not going to have a live show, so I just wanted to give a heads up on that. My husband was just delivering that message. So we have an event we're going to. But if you guys watch next week, we will be putting another video up, and you can watch, or go under YouTube under Tawnya Angel, and you can watch all the archive shows. So if you guys want to watch something else, just watch this one again. Watch to your heart's content. I would totally love it if you guys would share these videos with more people. Go follow us on YouTube and just share it with people. If you're on Facebook, share the videos, because it's helping spread this consciousness and helping get the help out there. And that's something that I very much appreciate. Anybody who would like to be an assistant, that helps us with our mission. So again, if you want to donate to the show, you can send me information in email and I'll let you know how to do that. But we really are appreciative to those of you that have assisted. And for all of you as you're creating, I wish you all the best. And I hope you can remember to be still and remember that you are God's and that you are amazing creators. Whether you're creating hell or heaven, now that's another question. So be mindful of your focal point. Thank you all for watching today, and have a blessed and beautiful day. Namaste.
tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVBI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Your Healthy Pet with Gisela DiCarlo. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.